today. We've got C-Milk over here. He's filming on the GoPro.
Very.
So when this video is all over, you can go and check it out on his channel and kind of see it from a different perspective. It's a little weird.
How serpentZA does things. how he records.
Yeah. Anyway, so today we're talking about Churchill Customs, which is now, well, this is our shop. I'll just stand back so you can get an idea of the scope. We are in this village. I've shown you guys before, but this is our shop. It's fairly big. Let's take a look around and I'll explain to you exactly how that started. Well, things have changed a bit since last time. We have our TV up here. Next to the computer, we've got, of course, our very important news cabinet. Very, very, very important. And this is supposedly our showroom area, where we put completed bikes. At the moment, well, we just have a couple of semi-completed bikes. This is our ΛDRILNWЛVE. It's still waiting for its new engine. We've got a very special engine going into this one. So it's just got a temporary piece of rubber inside for now. But, you know, this is a pretty cool bike. It's really interesting to ride. It feels good. It's one of our older projects. Ben's bike, one of the first bikes I built. And we've got this for rubbish in the corner there, which is just our sort of shop bike that everyone can ride, and you know, it's fully legally registered and everything, so anyone needs to do an errand, they can take that. Over here we have the Beard's bike, which is, well, it's about 70% completed. We're not happy with the way the petrol tank came out, so we're respraying the petrol tank. We've got a new one. In fact, let's go say hello to Morti in the back here. Hey Morti, we're coming into your paint room. This is the
Hey guys.
the paint room. This is Morti, who's the third person.
Say hi to YouTube.
Yeah.
Hello.
So basically, the three guys standing in this noxious room right now. It really is horrible in here. Myself, C-Milk, and Morti. This is the Churchill team. There's no one else involved in it. It's just us three. Morti, what do you do around here?
I paint tanks and parts on bikes.
Anything else?
Paint bottles.
Actually, Morti's being pretty modest. He's really good with an airbrush. I'll stick up. Here's one of the things he did the other day. Here's a picture over here. And you know, all of our bikes, he's the guy who paints them all. So yeah, this is his little room. This is where he does the initial base coats and all the prepping. When we do the clear coat, we actually have a professional spray booth that we use just down the road. We'll show you that later. Okay, anyway, that's our little curing tent, and let's get out of here before we suffocate. Okay, we do sometimes help friends of ours fix and sort out their bikes, so that's what this bike is doing over here. It belongs to a friend of mine. You know, we help people tune up their bikes, etc. Let me show you. Here we have our, well, basically a whole bunch of engines. Now these are some experimental engines that we've got. This is a 300cc water-cooled engine, which the radiator and all that somewhere in these boxes. This is a brand new engine for China that we're busy testing. And next to it we have a 250, an old one, and a brand new technology 200cc engine, which has a balance shaft. This is going to be really good. And of course all sorts of other stuff. Anyway, so that's where we keep all our engines. Now, to give you an idea of what we do here, let's take a look at a very normal Chinese bike. This red thing over here. This is basically the normal, most popular, cheapest rubbish 125 you get in China. Everybody rides them here, and basically this is what we call a farmer bike or a red bike. If you take a look at our Churchill Classic, this bike used to look exactly like that. That's what I did in the beginning. Before Churchill Customs, I used to buy crap bikes like that, second-hand usually, in a horrible condition, and I would change them and modify them into something that looks like this and all the less. I've done some better jobs, I've done some worse jobs, but that was basically how it started. Now, with Churchill Customs, now that we've got this set up, it's really cool because what we do is we build bikes from the ground up. So what we do is we go and we buy frames. You see one over here. We buy frames, we buy engines, we buy all the different components, and we build the bikes. Once they're completed, then we go through a registration process with some dealers down the road that we know very well. and we get proper license plates and get these bikes properly registered and insured. At the moment, there's a 250cc engine in this one, but we're changing it so we'll have a better 250 with an oil cooler. And that's basically what we do around here. So that's Churchill Customs, building bikes from the ground up, pretty much. And yeah, now you have an idea. We've got all our tools here. We're fully equipped. We've got a welder, so we do TIG welding, arc welding. As you can see, I do my practice welding on a horrible bike over here. Yeah, this welding ran into metal. We've got a very nice compressor over here, so we've got all our air tools, which is very useful. Marty's got all the spray stuff over there. And yeah, we're pretty much ready to rock. We've got everything you might need in a shop, really. A few things missing, but we're getting there. And it's basically just a hobby. It's turned into something a little more than a hobby. So hopefully this answers all your questions about Churchill Customs. Now, I thought maybe we'd strap the GoPro to one of the bikes, and one or two of the bikes, and go for a little ride and just show you more or less what these bikes are all about. So we'll be doing that shortly. Anyway, anything you want to add, Stephen?
I'd like to break down the bikes and tell you a little bit about them, so we'll take you there before we go on a ride.
Okay, cool.
Okay,
well,
good.
do you want to say something now about that?
Sure.
Yeah.
This is
this
is meta. This is really meta.
You do that, and I'll.
Okay, interesting. Okay, this is interesting. Okay, good. Let's start with the first model here. This is the Churchill. This is based off a Honda CG 125 frame that we all know and love, or maybe not love very much. Yeah, that we all know and hate, maybe. Yeah. Very practical bike, but a very good canvas for modification. So, what we do here is we can use a 125 Honda CG type engine or a 200cc engine from Yingang. Both engines are very good, good in quality, but the 200 puts out about 16 horsepower. So quite a peppy little thing in this 90 to 95 kilogram frame.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've shoved the 250cc into the small frame before, but it's actually a bit ridiculous. It doesn't need to be that big.
Now, 200 is probably good because it keeps the weight down and it has good power. But the 125 actually just as fun to ride, to be honest.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Really, really fun. So what we do here is we have nice wide tires. This is a 90.
Yeah, well, you can take a look at the original tire here. It's like a little bicycle tire. It's absolutely ridiculous. Compared to this tire here, it's much, much better and it's much bigger. So yeah, also look at the chain. We use O-ring chains.
Yeah.
You know, well, you can't see that chain, unfortunately.
Because it's horrible chain.
It's a tiny little one, yeah.
I'd like to commentate a little bit about the styling in the front.
Right.
You can see it comes with these horrible square headlights and square assembly, so you can see the entire front end is cleaned up with what we do here, and we have our logo on there instead of the Ghetto Schwarz logo.
Yeah, exactly. Also, you can see the handlebars are completely different. You know, this has got a very, it's a fairly comfortable riding position on these things, but it's just meant for puttering around at low speeds and not doing anything spectacular.
Right.
Whereas you can get down better on this one.
Absolutely.
It's still comfortable and it's good to ride. Yeah.
Altogether, the CG 125 is not a bad-looking bike, but we can turn.
about?
No, and this is horrible, right?
Yeah.
In its naked, natural form, it's not that bad, and what we can do is turn it into something beautiful.
Yeah.
And this is a beautiful bike, and it's a showstopper, really.
We're quite proud of this.
Want to commentate on the brake assembly because we get a lot of comments about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The front brake is a drum, and that is outdated technology for sure. But that is something that you are buying because you want the style.
Yeah.
This is a classic look, and it has just plenty of stopping power, really, I would say.
We actually compared it, and we took a normal disc brake. In fact, you can take a look at the disc on this one, for instance. This is a normal sort of single piston caliper disc brake. And we compared them, the stopping power, and they're identical. But there is no difference between the way this one stops and that one.
And that's because of the weight.
Yeah.
The weight of this bike is very low.
Yeah, that's true. Also, we can upgrade it to disc like we've done on this bike over here.
Of course.
See? So it is entirely possible to still get the classic spoked wheels with disc. But it kind of ruins the look, you know.
Yeah,
If
this is
you're
a
going
purist.
if you're going for an old school bike, it should look old school. So.
For sure. So this is our Churchill Classic, comes in 125 or 200cc trims.
Yep.
Let's move on to basically our flagship model, really, and this is the Moriarty.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this one is not complete, but here are some pictures of a complete one that we took the other day. Actually, it was complete.
It was complete.
It was complete with the photo shoot, but we stripped it down for basically bits and pieces. And, you know. Anyway, so here are the pictures of it when it was completed. Anyway, let's talk about this. Let's go.
Yeah, sure. This bike here is the Moriarty, which also comes in a 125 or a 250 configuration. Now, the 125 engine will be the same as, pretty much the same as the one you saw in the Churchill, but the difference being that this is a much more comfortable frame. This can suit someone my size, and I'm about 185 centimeters and about 90 kilograms. That bike is actually, to be honest, too small for me. Very fun, but too small. This bike is very comfortable. It's a nice bike, based on a Suzuki GN frame. Pretty much identical to the Suzuki GN 250 or 125. Now, what we have here is a 250 engine. We'll be using a oil-cooled version of this engine.
This one's got a balance shaft built into it, and you can't see it's hiding behind the bracket. And it's also got 6 gears instead of just 5,
right,
which your usual bikes will have.
The 250 does have quite a bit of grunt. I think Winston can attest to that.
Absolutely, great. And well, this one in particular is for a customer of ours who wanted to have a touring model. So, you know, we've got the hand grips. We don't usually have those on here.
Yeah, the bash guards.
And of course, we have a battery charger here. This is quite useful, actually. When you've got your cell phone, so you've got a 2.1 amp USB charger there. And then you can also just plug in normal, like, car, cigarette lighter stuff as well. So it's quite useful. Another thing is it's got heated grips. Okay, as you see here, you can change the temperature. So it's got heated grips for long journeys. And all of our bikes, at least this model, have a GPS tracker built in, which you can see over here. It is hidden underneath the tank, so would-be thieves would have a hard time getting to it. They'd have to take the tank off in order to get to it.
No, we've told everyone.
Yeah, that's it. The kind of guys who are going to be stealing these in China won't be watching YouTube. So the thing is, it's got a backup battery which lasts about 6 hours. So even if they did cut the wires, find these strange wires and cut them, you'd still be able to track your bike for up to 6 hours, which is quite useful, I reckon.
Yeah, the map function for tracking the bike is very useful.
Now, there's something that we haven't told everybody about that I'd like to tell everyone about.
Sure.
Okay, it's about parts. Now, something I'd like you to notice about these bikes. All the essential, like, wearable parts, things like, see the sprocket? This is not the sprocket that it comes with. This is a Honda sprocket that we've actually bought and put on here. Chains, the ID O-ring chains. Basically, all the little wearable parts that would give issues, like the shock absorbers, they're not stock. They're all better quality. But that being said, if you're riding through China and something goes wrong with your bike, now anyone who's ever done any riding in China will know this to be true. If you're riding in China and you're riding a special kind of a bike, let's just say you're riding that bike, right? Something breaks on it, you're in a little town somewhere, you go to any little bike shop, say, can you help me fix it? They'll be like, sorry, you can't.
They don't even know what it is.
Yeah, they
have
don't
no
know.
idea.
They look at it and say, oh, it's got a radiator, we're not touching it.
Yeah.
It's got disc brakes, we're not touching it. But with these bikes, because essentially what we're doing is we're building from the ground up using the parts that make up these bikes. We're taking the most commonly used bikes in China, which are this one, the CG, and the GN. We don't have an original to show you, but here's a picture of what an original looks like. The parts are available everywhere. So you can go to the smallest, most crap little one-horse town and they will have parts. Yeah, they'll be crap. Let's just say something goes wrong. They'd be able to replace the whole rear wheel for you if you needed to, your push drive, your shocks, your everything that's on this bike.
It's backwards compatible.
Yeah, it's
everything.
Backwards compatible. So that's one thing that we're very happy about our bikes is that you can be, really assured that no matter what goes wrong when you're out there, you'll still be able to get it sorted out.
For sure.
So yeah.
And I can attest to the fact that I've been riding around a Moriarty, and so has Winston for a long time, and we've actually had no mechanical failures whatsoever. So, God forbid anything does break, you can still fix it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the difference is when we assemble these things, we assemble them properly using Loctite and high tensile bolts. Basically the kind of metal that I'll maybe give you an example here. Here you can see we've used completely different bolts here and bits of metal on the entire bike, but the parts that you buy usually, let's take a look here. On this brand new piece of scrap over here. Take a look at the quality of the metal here. This is like the cheapest pig iron that you can buy. This stuff actually just shears off and bends. And you'll see
It's dangerous.
everywhere on the bike. All the nuts and bolts are made out of this absolutely disgusting, cheap, horrible metal, which, you know, actually breaks. See? Everything. Even like the actuator lever here. So, of course, when we build ours, as you can see, everything has been replaced with high quality, high tensile stuff, which of course helps a big deal when you've got a big heavy foreigner like one of us
Absolutely.
on there. Yeah, so basically that's more or less the philosophy behind our shop. Make it better, build it properly. Right, anything else?
Let's talk about the future.
Okay.
What we might be doing very soon is creating a Street Fighter for you guys,
It's gonna be fun.
and also an
It's not
adventure.
gonna be a very classic looking Laowinners.
No,
No.
but and we'll have an adventure bike coming out too for your tough China rides.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, we're building basically something like a grass tracker, which is going to be a touring adventure bike as well. It's interesting. It's coming soon, probably in a month or so. And another one we're building, which is, well, it's going to be a surprise. We'll leave it at that. Yeah.
What do you say we go for a ride?
Yeah. Okay.
Let's get some riding footage for these guys.
Yeah. Yeah, I better not.